Welcome to today's event. So once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Association of City Managers in Nigeria webinar. We're celebrating World Environment Day 2025. My name is Isah Shuaibu. I'm an assistant lecturer in the Department of Geography, Nigerian Defense Academy. So please, I'll be your moderator and co-host for today's event. It's actually a privilege to guide us through this important discussion on ending plastic waste in cities, which is the theme of this year's event, the pros, the cons, and the way forward. We have an excellent lineup of speakers who are on ground to do justice to the topic, and I want to encourage all of you to actually engage with us. Please note that all microphones will be muted or shall remain muted during presentations so that we'll have a smooth audio. However, for engagement, you can type your comments while the speaker is actually still speaking. You can type your comments or questions. Every speaker will have 20 minutes to make his presentation, after which we'll have 10 minutes for Q&A. So let's begin with the welcome address. So let me start by introducing the president. So I want to invite our distinguished ACMAN president, Town Planner Godswill Unekwuojo Musa, a sustainable urban planning and development consultant, to deliver the opening remarks. Town Planner Musa, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Isah. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, distinguished speakers, esteemed colleagues, participants, and friends from across Nigeria and beyond. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to this important event organized by Association of City Managers in Nigeria, ACMAN, in commemoration of World Environment Day 2025. This year's theme, Ending Plastic Pollution in Cities, Pros, Cons, and Way Forward, could not be more urgent. In our cities, we are witnessing firsthand the environmental and public health crisis caused by plastic waste, from blocked drainage systems and urban flooding to marine litter and land degradation. Plastic pollution is silently eroding the quality of life in our cities. Tackling these challenges open doors to cleaner environments, new green jobs, and healthier communities. While there are real challenges like cost, infrastructure gaps, and public resistance, the path forward lies in smart policies, better waste systems, education, and innovations. This dialogue is a step toward a practical and lasting solution. As city managers, urban planners, architects, civil engineers, environmentalists, and advocates, we have a shared responsibility to drive the change we want to see. Today's event is not just a discussion, it is a call to action, a space where we all must reflect, learn, and commit to practical, scalable, and inclusive solutions. We are honored to have with us distinguished speakers, experts, activists, and innovators who will be sharing their insights and experiences on the challenges and opportunities that lies ahead. I encourage us all to engage actively, ask questions, and contribute your ideas that can shape a better environmental policy and practices in our cities. On behalf of ACMAN, thank you all for joining us and for your commitment to building sustainable urban environments. I wish us all a fruitful and impactful sessions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our able president. At least you saved us a lot of time, because we actually have a very rich agenda today, and for actually pointing out that today's World Environment Day is actually a call for action for city managers to tackle the menace posed by pollution. So I'll actually be introducing our first speaker, Mr. Ejike C. Nwankwo. Mr. Ejike C. Nwankwo is the founder of Plafera Challenge. It's a citizen-led campaign combating plastic pollution and urban flooding across Nigerian cities. He's actually a passionate environmental activist and social impact advocate. So he mobilizes online communities to adopt sustainable habits through public education, digital engagement, and advocacy. With a background in business computing and expertise in management of information systems, Ejike integrates data and digital tools to support environmental solutions. His leadership has inspired thousands through the Plastic-Free Rainy Season Challenge and grassroots campaigns, bridging policy with public action. Mr. Ejike will be speaking to us on Beyond the Bag, urban innovation for ending plastic solutions. Please, Mr. Ejike, you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shuaibu, and thank you also, Mr. Musa, the president of ACMAN. Good morning, everyone, city managers, urban planners, environmental advocates, and the fellow change makers from around the world. I welcome you to this webinar. My name, as you heard, is Ejike C. Nwankwo, founder of Plafera Challenge, a citizen-led initiative that is tackling plastic pollution and urban flooding in Nigeria. I am honored to be part of today's event, the ACMAN's 2025 World Environment Day celebration, as we reflect on the most urgent issue in our cities, in our time, plastic pollution, a collective way to move forward. So we are here to find solutions on how we can help to curb plastic pollutions in our cities. We will go through the presentation slide by slide. You can see my title of presentation is Beyond the Bag, Urban Innovation for Ending Plastic Pollution. Let's go to slide 2 so that I talk you through the presentation. Right, so the issue of plastic pollution or environmental management is a shared responsibility. Just like that Native American proverb reminds us of the deep truth that we borrow this planet from our children. Today, it isn't just only about plastic bags, it is about the legacies we have to leave behind. Sometimes we feel that in our environment, whatever we do does not matter. If I find any little thing of convenience in terms of plastic packaging, and then when I'm done with it, I throw it away. After all, there are city managers, after all, there are waste managers in the society who should take care of the rest. But then we must have to recognize the fact that environmental sustainability puts a responsibility on us, that we are not just living on this environment because we have deserved it, but we are borrowing it from our future generation. So we have to take responsibility and make sure that we leave a legacy behind that our future generations will inherit from us. Slide 3. The urban plastic crisis. As you can see from the presentation, 11 of the top 20 polluting countries are in the global south of the world. And our cities like Lagos, Nairobi, Mumbai, Accra, and Ghana are bearing the brunt of this plastic pollution. Plastic pollution in urban centers is directly linked to infrastructure breakdown, diseases, and even loss of lives during flood. Just a few days ago in Nigeria, in Kwara, Niger State, we experienced very serious flooding catastrophe that, as at now, it has claimed over 200 lives. And we know that that flooding was caused by rainfall. And why would it cause flooding? I mean, after the rain, is because the drainages are not open to let water, the rainstorm, flow out to lower plains and even into the aquatic body. So when we keep having our drainages clogged, the consequence is that most likely during rainy season that we will start experiencing flooding, especially in the cities, and the hazard of that flood we cannot imagine. Slide 4. Understanding urban plastic pollution. Single-use plastics like sachets, bottles, the bottles we get from our Coca-Cola drink, the bottles we get from our table water, and all those kind of bottles and nylon bags dominate our waste streams. They are designed simply for just a few minutes of use, but they persist in the environment for centuries. The life cycle of urban plastics from production to improper disposal is poisoning our cities. We can't overlook that. So this is something that we must wake up to as individuals, as organizations, as corporate bodies, as educational institutions. We must all join hands to make sure that we address urban plastic pollution. Slide 5. Why plastic pollution persists in our environment? This is a question everybody must be asking. Why haven't we stopped this? There are 3 reasons why it persists. 1 is convenience. 2 is weak enforcement. 3 is cost saving. For many urban poor, plastic is the only affordable packaging choice. If you check now, you want to buy detergent, for instance. If you want to buy detergent, 1 kilogram of detergent, you look at the price, it might be too expensive for the common or the poor within the urban environments to buy. But if it is reduced in smaller sachets, they can be sold at affordable prices whereby people will be able to get it. For that reason, so many people will stay with single-use plastic items. In slide 6 and 7, I talk about the pros and the real cost of plastics in the cities. Yes, plastic makes food more accessible and it keeps goods affordable. But the same plastic blocks drains. It causes floods, it poisons fish, and ends up in our lungs as microplastic. Recent research shows we may be ingesting up to 5 grams of plastic every single week, the size of a credit card. And the agricultural soils now contain 23 times more microplastics than our oceans. That is something that we must not overlook. It is really getting to that point where we should not just keep quiet. Even as environmental advocates, we must shout our voices until something is done to change the situation. Slide 8. Plafera Insight. At Plafera, we have built a citizen-led movement that empowers individuals, especially youth, to act. From community cleanups to our plastic-free rainy season challenge, we believe that collective behavior can reshape urban outcomes. For instance, right now we are talking about the rainy season is here in Nigeria, and when you're listing one corner of the nation, you hear about flooding. As the flooding happened in Niger State, just yesterday there was also another report of flooding in Anambra State. You know, those flash floods, they keep occurring. Perhaps maybe another time it could be Lagos, it could be Abuja. So, but Plafera Challenge is a program that inspires people, especially during the rainy season, to reduce their dependence and reliance on single-use plastic items, thereby helping to have cleaner environment, cleaner drainage systems, and then having free flow of water and a better environment for all. Let's go to slide 9. Addressing urban policy gaps. We must bridge 3 critical gaps. As I mentioned before, enforcement is actually a challenge in the urban policies that we have. Most of the countries and even our cities, they have different regulations, plastic ban and the regulations against plastic pollution, but there is minimal enforcement. So at the end of the day, it looks like those policies are absent. Affordability of alternatives is another issue. I have had an instance where I told somebody, please, you can reduce your dependence on single-use plastic. For instance, instead of drinking bottled water every day, you can have your filtered water. And then the person said to me, so if I have filtered water, what happens when I need water at any given time? I say you can carry your reusable flask. But you see, in a place like Nigeria, and I guess many other places, these alternatives are not easily affordable for people to use. So it becomes a challenge. There is also a challenge of inclusion of informal waste workers in the urban policy. And these people are very, very crucial. If we want to have an improved recycling system, they must be part of the system or the policy that we create. Without such informal waste workers, recycling system will collapse. Slide 10, the role of built environment professionals, and that's why we are having this webinar today, to urban planners, architects, and engineers who are listening to me now. Even the ones that are not listening to me, I believe that this message will get to them. This is your time. Choose circular construction materials. Design drainage-proof cities. Eliminate plastic waste in your building specs. There are some cities that deliberately take action and they make sure that they have plastic-proof drainages so that plastics that leave households or that do not get into the recycling facilities, they get trapped by these drainage-proof systems, and from that they can be recovered and recycled instead of allowing them to get into the aquatic bodies and cause more harm to our environment. Slide 11. Building plastic-free cities. Plastic-free cities are not futuristic. They are possible. In fact, we can do it. This is the time that we have to take very serious action and ensure that we have our cities plastic-free. So I am calling on everybody to join the movement to make our cities plastic-free. Let's look at slide 12. Slide 12 is about global best practices, and I used 3 instances in this presentation. One is Rwanda. Rwanda banned plastic bags in 2008. And what is the result today? Their streets are clean. They banned and implemented. If you go to Rwanda, as you land at Kigali Airport, assuming you are carrying a polythene bag or plastic bag with you, they will trash it at the airport that you can't take it into their city or their country. It is being enforced to that extent. And the result today is that Rwanda has very clean streets and the cities are very clean, and they are void of plastic waste. Amsterdam also thrives on reuse systems. If you go to Amsterdam, you will also see what they have done in terms of reuse and refill. They promote circular economy models. Their initiatives reduce single-use plastic items. Then again, we have another good example of global best practices in South Korea, where sorting incentives have boosted recycling rates. And for them, they are achieving over 80% recycling. And this is something that is commendable. If these three countries that I've mentioned, just a few, there are so many others who are doing great things to curb plastic pollution. If they can do it, I believe that we can also do it here in Nigeria and any other country that is lagging behind. Slide 13, market and tech solutions. We can see that one of the ways to achieve that is coming up with innovative solutions that lead to plastic reduction. Bioplastics and compostables is one of the ways to accomplish that. Compostable packaging, creating urban recycling hubs, having smart waste tracking. These things that I'm talking about, they are not science fiction. They are here and they are growing. We can do it, and I encourage that we begin to take actions to accomplish that. Let's look at slide 15. Slide 15, we are talking about education as foundation. Schools are incubators of change. When we start early, when we instill this culture in our children in school, they take it home and then they grow it in our society. Plafera Challenge, for instance, is one of such. We have what we call Plafera quiz, and this Plafera quiz, we engage students with facts that stick in their minds. Because as they practice these quizzes every day, they get to have these things entrenched in their mind, and then they begin to, their behaviors will be modified, and they come out as better advocates for a cleaner environment, an environment that we have people who are less dependent on single-use plastic. So because of behavior change, we have people that have knowledge. So that is how education forms foundation for better and a cleaner environment. The next slide. Okay, still talking of local data and local action. When Lagos did its plastic waste audit, which is one of the things, if you go through my post, you will find some of this post that I am talking about. It found out that 34 kilograms per person is leaking into waterways each year. You can imagine 34 kilograms of plastic waste per individual leaking into the waterways every year in Lagos. This was the tipping point that led to the banning of styrofoam in Lagos. I'm sure the listeners here and participants in this webinar who are acquainted with the styrofoam ban in Lagos, you know what I'm talking about. So This is really an issue. And why is it so? Because of behavior. Many of us don't care about what happens next. All that we are concerned about is our convenience. If I go to an eat out place like the Mr. Biggs or Chicken Republic or all those confectionery outfit, and then I buy my food, I put it in styrofoam and walk away. After eating my food, what happens? I throw it in the trash. But what happens to it eventually? We don't care. So in Lagos, with that data, we are able to establish that about 34 kilograms is getting into the waterways per individual every year. So when we measure our waste, we are able to visualize the kind of damage that is being done to our environment. And this can help us or propel us to act. Data makes the invisible become visible. Slide 17, addressing the barriers. What's holding us back? That's the question. It's my question, and it should be the question that everybody should ask him or herself. There are 4 things holding us back. 1 is finance. 2 is political will. 3 is misinformation. And the 4 is broken infrastructure. Finance people will always say, how do I do it if I don't have money to be able to modify my packaging materials? I won't be able to do it. If I don't have money to buy alternatives, I won't be able to do it. But for the government, most times the government lacks the will. The reason why some countries are able to advance in their waste management and environmental management is because there is a political will to address that problem collectively. But where that is lacking, it will be pockets of activities by few individuals which may or may not bring the desirable, significant change that we all want. Slide 18. What can we do differently? Build, refill, and reuse systems is one of them. Invest in biodegradable packaging is another. Forge partnerships across sectors is another. We don't need perfection. We only need progress. As we begin to take these steps, things will get better. Slide 19. And this is my call to action. To every citizen, I want to ask us that we refuse that extra nylon bag or polythene bag. Speak out. Join Plafera Challenge. Take those simple daily actions that reduce the plastic pollution in our environment. To professionals, I ask you to design waste from your projects. Design waste out from your projects. And how do you achieve that? From beginning, think of zero waste systems. After all, in the natural processes, there is no waste. What we find in the natural processes is only inert end products. And those end products become feedstock for another process. So if we have to think of having a better system designed, we must, from conception, create projects that take out waste. Whatever is generated as waste can serve as a feedstock for another process. Then to policymakers, I enjoin policymakers to champion reforms, invest in systems that last. By so doing, we will be able to go to slide 20. Slide 20. By so doing, we will be able to have our way forward. Plastic-free cities are not a dream. They are a blueprint. The Plafera vision is simple: educate, inspire, and act. Together, we will build cities that are clean, safe, and sustainable. Thank you very much. I want to thank the ACMAN team and all participants. At this point, I would welcome any question on the presentation I made. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwankwo, for that insightful presentation. We are actually much more knowledgeable from what you've actually told us. So please, let's use the raise hands icon if you have any question, or you can actually chat, leave your questions in the comment section. We have 10 minutes to actually attend to Mr. Nwankwo will attend to you within 10 minutes. So, but while we wait, Mr. Nwankwo, let me start. Looking at Nigeria's population, because population is one of the drivers of plastic pollution. Do you think outright ban, as is being done in Rwanda, will actually work in Nigeria?
Please unmute.
Thank you for that question. Nigeria is not actually different from very many other countries. We have seen countries where plastic ban was implemented, and yet after a short while, the ban could not be enforced. So I go back to behavior. That is why ban is not one bullet, that you use to solve the problem. When we have ban, advocacy must also be part of it. That's why we say, if you want to come up with a policy, let there be a stakeholder involvement whereby all stakeholders will be part of it. The citizens are resistant to change, that we know. And there is a culture of just throw. In East Africa, Swahili, they call it tupatu, just throw. So I'm in a bus or I'm in a public vehicle, I drink from the plastic, the fizzy drink from the plastic bottle. After drinking, I just throw it and I feel that I've disposed of it, but the problem continues. So a country like Nigeria, ban can work, but we must have to enforce behavioral change. Without that, it will be a little difficult. Let's use Lagos, for instance. The ban on styrofoam, if you come to Lagos now, you notice that there is up to 70 or 80% success in ban on styrofoam. That is why the other items that will follow from 1st of July, the government they use that styrofoam as a pilot, and then the other ones will follow. We'll see how it goes. If there are areas of weaknesses, you'll fine tune, but continue to talk to the people about the hazards of plastic pollution, especially to the environment and to our health. I believe that with that, we will be able to have success, just like Rwanda is having presently.
Okay, sir. We have Ben Asen raising up his hands. Ben Asen, please, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you, the organizers of this program, and thank you, the presenter. It's been heartwarming, it's been knowledgeable, it's been a lot in one session. So my question is, am I still heard? I heard some.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, I'm an expert in fisheries. I have a PhD in fisheries, so often I do my studies in the water bodies and all of that, and you often find plastic there. So we're having the conversation of people should stop throwing things into the ocean. So I want to ask the experts of plastic pollution. For plastic that is already in the oceans, what can we do to get rid of them? What are the strategies we can put in place to get rid of them? Before we can even talk about preventing people from drawing more of the plastics in there. Thank you very much.
So thank you, Ben, for your question. It is very, very interesting to also hear somebody, an expert in fishery, asking this question. Actually, the aquatic body has suffered more harm than we can imagine. From some studies in the recent times, we have been able to establish that at the pace which the oceans are being polluted, if it continues, that in 50 years we may have more plastic in the ocean than fish. And that is true. Now, the government, when we talk of policy, if I will still use Lagos as an instance, a couple of years ago, when you come to the lagoons in Lagos, you will find a floating body of plastic on the water, something looking almost like plastic soup on top of the waters in different locations in Lagos. Now, the government has gradually started cleaning up the ocean. They do that periodically. So you might have today, you notice those plastics floating on the ocean or the lagoon and all whatnot. In the next 1 or 2 days, you'll find them cleaned up. There are even some areas where plastic barriers are being introduced so that the plastic does not move into the bigger water bodies. However, that action is only taking care of the plastic waste, but then it is not addressing microplastics. There are newer technologies now that are coming up where some organizations are introducing projects that can extract microplastics from the ocean. That has not become widespread, but in time to come, it will. Immediately that happens, I think a lot of even microplastics in the ocean will be recovered. But before then, the plastic waste itself, like those bottles, in many places, they are being recovered. With increasing recycling activities, people are even taking risks to go and then harvest those waste from the water bodies so that they can sell them to plastic recyclers. So that is going on. And I will encourage other areas to also be part of that. As we do that, we will be able to save more of the exposure that the fish is getting from our pollution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ejike. Please, we only have time for one more question, so let's just take it from the comment section. Taiwo Oloyede asks, when you talk of political will, what exactly do you think needs to be done?
Okay, thank you for that question. I'll give you a typical instance too. If we have crop of leaders who do not care about the environment, remember, if you go back to my slide 2, I talked about the environment, that we don't own the environment where we are. We did not even inherit it from our ancestors, but we borrowed it from our future generations. So we have responsibility to leave it to do better. So many of the politicians who do not have this consciousness, they will not. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
All right. So many of our politicians who don't have this consciousness, who do not understand our responsibility as change makers, as sustainable leaders, will not give the right approach towards coming up with policies that will make our environment sustainable. But immediately you see a leader who takes that as a priority. Every policy that will make the environment sustainable, the leader will push it and then make sure that it is implemented. We have had cases, and I keep giving instance of Nigeria being our environment. During the time that we had Governor Fashola in Lagos, people noticed a lot of improvement in waste management. Why? He was interested in making that change. He also brought teams of experts that were ready to make the change. When they give policy brief to government, the governor will make sure that these policy briefs are translated into laws and go to the state assembly and ensure that the state assembly implements. And the change is visible. When environment is clean, you don't need anybody to tell you. Every clean environment will be visible to the citizens. And that way you will know that things are working. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. So now we'll now present our next presenter. Her name is Pushpalakshmi Mohan. Pushpalakshmi Mohan is the founder of EcoKadai and an environmental and health safety professional. She's passionate about sustainability. She leads EcoKadai in developing natural, chemical-free biocomposite materials to replace plastic and bioplastics. Her work centers on transforming agricultural waste into durable, compostable products that support a circular economy. Please, for those of us that are not conversant with circular economy is basically trying to eliminate waste from our waste stream by actually repurposing it and keeping it in the system as long as possible. So that is one of her passion. So under her leadership, EcoKadai promotes zero waste principles, soil health, and carbon reduction, which fosters partnership to scale circular innovation. Pushpalakshmi is committed to creating systemic change through collaboration, innovation, and a shared vision of regenerative plastic-free future. So she will be talking to us this morning on why plastic usage and recycling are not long-term sustainable. So please, Pushpalakshmi, you have the floor for 20 minutes, then 10 minutes for question.
Yeah, good afternoon. I am Pushpalakshmi, founder of EcoKadai. So as a EHS professional, I have a vast experience in taking awareness and implementing safe work practices inside industries, and also dealing with all those environmental issues inside factory, outside factory. So now let us speak about why plastic usage and recycling are not long-term sustainable. So there is a myth flowing that the plastic recycling is a solution which indirectly boosting the overproduction of plastics and fossil fuel dependency. A clean future definitely will not come from recycling more plastic. It will come from choosing a better natural alternative. So let us all pledge today to create a sustainable future by redesigning our system, not waste. So the first thing, when we talk about plastics, it comes along with the pollution. It may be durable, it may be flexible, it may be cheap, it may be affordable. But what about the end of life? It costs much, it's costlier, it is causing more harm to the environment. Most of the environmental harm is unknown, and most of the health impacts are unknown. More and more researchers are going on how the plastic is going to impact our health, and how this microplastics and nanoplastics are going to interact with our environment, and how much damage it's going to cost. We don't know how much we are going to invest in in this alternatives to come back from this damage and to restore our environment. We don't know how much we are going to spend in future to recover all those damage caused by these plastics. Definitely, we don't know. So the health impacts of plastic usage, everyone we know. Plastic production involves more chemicals, like it involves 13,000 chemicals, out of which 3,000 are harmful, like BPA, phthalates. All this are endocrine disruptors, and more researchers are linking it with cancer-causing carcinogens. And indirectly, many plastics products are depend on fossil fuel. 99% of plastic is from fossil fuel, and 1 or 2% are bioplastic, which is from corn, sugar cane, and all those things. And the plastic is everywhere. It's in ocean, it's in soil, it is in drinking water. Everywhere it's polluting. And the plastic production indirectly create a linear economy. Take, make, dispose. 40% of the plastic waste is coming from single-use plastic packaging. So it's creating more harm, and more harm. We are unknown about the more harm. More research is going on. More than 7,000 researches are published on microplastics and nanoplastics, and we don't know how it's going to affect our next generation. So next slide. So we are saying recycling is a solution. It may be a short-term solution, but it's not a long-term solution. For example, we are converting a PET bottle into a t-shirt. We have to ask, what next? Is the t-shirt is going to be recycled? If every time the plastic can be recycled 1 or twice, the end product is going to harm our environment. The end product is going to the landfill. Whenever we recycle a plastic, the end product of the recycled plastic, it's going to harm in few years. So the recycling rate is also lower. Only 9% of the plastics is recycled globally. So what about the 91%? So the recycling is also costlier. It costs more energy consumption, and it releases more toxins into the environment. There are more studies. The recycled plastics are more harmful than the virgin plastics. So it's a problem. It's going to create a problem. Whenever we are making a product, for example, we recycle e-waste, and out of that we are making some black plastic food containers, which is harm to our health. It's going to contact with our food, and it's going to leach the toxins. It's going to leach the microplastics into our food, which we are going to ingest. So every waste plastic is interacting with us. Plastic is in air. As a nanoparticle, it's in air. We are breathing. We are inhaling. In a food chain, there is plastic. We are ingesting. It's in a skin contact through all these synthetic textiles. So everywhere it's going inside our body, inside our ecosystem, inside our biodiversity chain. Everything is getting damaged. So recycling, it's like a bandage, not a solution. So it's a temporary fix. Recycling a plastic, initially it's have a lower carbon footprint, but what about the long term? Or the plastic recycled product, it's going to add any soil health, or it's going to add any water purification, or it's going to purify the air, or it's going to regenerate the agriculture? Nothing. The end product is going to damage our agriculture. It's going to damage our soil in a long term. It's going to damage our oceans. It's going to damage our drinking water also. It's breaking down into microplastic and nanoplastic. It's in existence. So more and more research is required to move away from this plastic and to go for a regenerative economy. So for example, we have using this plastic water bottles earlier, but it's slowing down nowadays. We are going for bamboo bottles. We are going for steel containers. If you go for a steel container, like if you are buying a steel water bottle, you can keep for many years. You can keep for 50 years, or you can keep for even 100 years. But what about the plastic water bottle? It will be degrade within 2 or 3 years. So design out the plastic waste in your product. So whatever you are going to design in a future, think of the nature. Nature gives more solution. Think of a banana tree. A banana tree is the best example of regeneration. Every part of a banana tree is adding value to the health. It's adding value to the environment. It's adding value to a healthier community. It doesn't harm the environment. It doesn't harm our health. It's not harming any biodiversity. Every part of a banana is useful to nature as well as to human being as well as to the community. Likewise, we have to design product by inspiring from the nature. So inspire from the nature. Eliminate plastic in the product design itself. There are many agro waste are there. We are a huge agriculture economy. Many agro waste are there. So make a product out of that. Do more research. Make product out of, like we are now getting more bamboo products. Bamboo is one of the best example of carbon sequestration. In this, while growing a bamboo, the bamboo itself is absorbing more CO2. So you are making products out of the bamboo. So there are many agro waste product we can use in design of many products in future. So we have to concentrate more on this design phase to eliminate plastic, which is a long-term solution for us. And next one. So for example, in home, in kitchen, it starts from the kitchen. We are using plastic bottles, we are using plastic containers. So please go for some steel containers, go for some bamboo containers. It's healthier as well. It will have a long life. You can pass to the next generation also. So likewise, we have many reusable, like we can go for a cloth bag or jute bag. Instead of single-use plastic bags, you can go for cloth, jute bag, bamboo hemp bag. There varieties are available. In personal care products, there are many plastic packaging. So many countries are going for a refill station. Instead of buying a shampoo bottle, you can go with the bottle and refill the shampoo. You can do that kind of refilling system in grocery stores. So like for example, instead of using a plastic scrubber, go for a coconut scrubber. The coconut waste, coconut husk, everything is available in nature. Go for a natural scrubbers. So it have a good it creates a healthier environment. As in office, we are using plastic cups and plastic containers. Go for some alternative. There are some recycled wood materials also available. FSC certified wood products are available. Many products are made out of bamboo, and there are many alternatives like seaweed packaging, mycelium based packaging. So like instead of keeping a plastic bin, go for a steel bin. Everything is possible. So we have to, instead of using a plastic file, go for a cloth file. Go for a cloth folder. It's possible. So we have to replace this plastic in home, in our workplace, and in our everyday day-to-day activities. So it starts from our home, it starts from our office. So go for alternatives. Slowly it will happen. If many people are going to use the alternative, definitely the price of the alternative will also come down. So go for the alternative products and boost the environment for a regenerative packaging. So toxic chemicals, there are many toxic chemicals in the plastic production, as I said earlier. Like there is BPA, there are PFAS, there are forever chemicals. It's called, it bioaccumulate in the environment. It will not degrade. It will be accumulated in our soil. It will be accumulated in our water. So everywhere it will be. So it's our once again endocrine disruptors. It's harming our health and environment. For example, if you see agricultural land which is having microplastic in soil, the root and shoot will uptake this microplastic in growth stage itself. There are more studies are established. It's affecting our agricultural yield, and once again it's entering our ecosystem. The insects also being a carrier of these microplastics, and at the end of the day our food is also having microplastics. because the soil is having a microplastic contamination. So it's like a chain. It's come to us. We have throwing a plastic and it's come back to us in our food chain. So it happens. So it's a persistent pollution. Yeah. So what is the advantage of plastic-free alternative? When you go for a plastic-free alternative, the greenhouse gas emissions due to it will be reduced because it's from a fossil fuel. It's a fossil fuel waste we are using. So it will reduce the over dependency on fossil fuel, and it have a healthier indoor air. Even microplastics is in air also. It's breaking. If you are using a synthetic tire, due to friction, it is going to be a microplastic in air. So if we are the synthetic textiles, due to the UV degradation, we are air drying synthetic textiles means it's going to degrade as a microplastic or nanoplastic. So if you are designing out this plastic in a product, it's going to create a healthier environment, healthier ecosystem, and everywhere there will be a healthier community as well. So support regenerative practice. There is a term called regenerative agriculture. Whatever product you are going to make from agriculture byproduct, it can be a rice bran, it can be a rice husk, or it can be banana waste. It can be any kind of agro byproduct. If you are naturally processing without any chemical and making a product means, for example, we have in EcoKadai, we make a cup from coffee waste. Ultimately, it can be reused as a briquette. It can be reused as a biomass briquette, which have more calorific value than a wood charcoal. So it have a beautiful end of life. Or it can be converted into a biochar, which is going to support the soil health of the agriculture. So the end of the life cycle should be beautiful. It should give back to the nature beautifully. So work on that. So next one. So finally, take away from my presentation, whatever product you are going to design in future, keep one thing in mind. Whatever ways we can eliminate plastic in our product design, we have plenty of agro waste. I have researched more than 70 type of agro waste for the past 3 years. There are abundant agro waste available. We can reprocess, we can make products, we can make fuels. So think of that. So the agriculture byproduct processing and making a product out of it in a natural way, it's going to regenerate our whole ecosystem. It's going to protect us from the plastics in future. So we are inherited by plastic unknowingly. Please don't pass to the next generation. We need clean drinking water. Even the microplastic is affecting the aquifers in the underground water, which is the source of pure drinking water. So more research published last year regarding the microplastic in the aquifers of drinking water source. So please think out of that. Please pass clean air, water, soil to the next generation. It's possible only through circular regenerative practices in product design. So whatever product you make out, in the end of life, it should support a regenerative agriculture. It should support the soil health. It should support carbon sequestration. It should not harm the biodiversity. It should not harm the environment. It should not harm human beings. It should not harm any living beings in the planet. So keep that in mind and design products. Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you, Ms. Pushpalakshmi, for your excellent presentation. And I honestly did not see banana in so much light as you've actually shown it now. Likewise, bamboo. But before we actually throw it open to the floor, I want to find out, presently the world is battling climate change, and one of the reasons attributed to climate change is deforestation. Don't you think by moving from plastic to natural products like plant-based products will lead to cutting down of more trees that will actually affect the environment more? Please, I want you to shed more light on that, please, before we ask the next person to talk. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Once again, repeat the question, I will answer.
Yeah, you suggested using alternatives, and this alternative product will actually bring down the cost to become cheaper than plastic products. So what I want to find out is if these plant-based alternatives are actually much more wider in use, in the long term, don't you think they will actually lead to issues like deforestation, cutting down of trees that will actually increase our climate, leading to other environmental issues?
Yeah, I got your point. Actually, I'm not asking to do a cultivation for making products. I'm speaking about the waste which is thrown to the landfill. Like it's a complete waste. For example, I'm working on spent coffee grounds. It's thrown to a dustbin. Ultimately, it goes to landfill and give methane gas emissions, which is more harmful than CO2. I am taking that spent coffee ground and naturally processing along with coconut waste to make a beautiful products. The coconut waste, husk part, coir part, all those waste which is thrown. We are not cultivating any products for making products. We are taking the products which are thrown out to the dustbin. It's a waste. We are taking the product from that stage and making products naturally without chemicals. And the water usage in our process also very low. We are going for mechanical pulping and compression molding technology. And at the end of the manufacturing, there is no wastewater because we are going for a heating and cooling process. There is no water in the end of the product. There is no need for wastewater treatment also. It's a zero waste manufacturing process we are talking about. So completely different process from the bioplastic. In bioplastic, they take the corn and they take the sugar can, they chemically pulp all those and add all the chemical additives and make a product. At the end of the time, there will be a wastewater which should be treated. But our process is completely different from bioplastics. Bioplastics depends upon the cultivation. It leads to monocultivation of corn or sugar cane. But in our case, we are taking only the byproducts which are thrown to the landfill, which are thrown to the dustbin. We are making a product out of it. And at the end of the life, we are encouraging to reuse as a biomass briquette. And we have tested in laboratory, it have more calorific value than our charcoal. And the deformation of our product is low. For example, we have tested our product in laboratory. For 70 degrees Celsius for 24 hours, it has only 1.3% deformation. So it's a potential repurpose in a briquette. Once we drink a coffee in a coffee cup, it can be reused as a briquette. It's a biomass briquette, low emissions than a charcoal briquette, low greenhouse gas emissions. So otherwise it can be converted into a biochar. Biochar has various applications. It's used in water purification, it's used in carbon sequestration, it's used in soil amendment. So end of the product should be beautiful and the choice of the waste should be more conscious. We should not do monocultivation for making products. We have to choose products which is a complete waste. Like in banana ecosystem, there are many waste we are processing also. And we are making a beautiful mats, beautiful products also using banana fibers in textiles. So everything is beautifully made and at the end of life, it should be beautiful. So in that inspiration only, I have taken this coffee waste and coconut waste. It's locally available in our environment. We are not going to take from other states also. Whatever available in my locality, I'm taking and making product. So ultimately, their carbon footprint in this scenario.
Thank you very much, Lakshmi. So at this stage, please, we want to call on Chris Kozak. Maybe you can actually vocalize your question so that we can actually get to actually understand it better. So I understand you're asking what would we replace plastic waste with, but please, we actually want to hear your voice on it. Maybe at the end of the day, you may actually also help us shed light. But please, you can actually ask your question verbally. So please, Kozak, You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that opportunity. Say, my question really revolves around, there are a lot of great solutions and thoughts and opportunities to replace plastic, but I wonder, A, how it can be done on scale to meet the global demand, but B, really, my thought is, what are the environmental impacts of, what do we replace plastic with that has a more sustainable environmental impact? I understand that the banana leaves and the coffee grounds and the coconuts, I don't think that can be done to scale. Leaves us with glass or aluminum, and those have a higher environmental impact than plastic. So I'm wondering what the solution really can be.
Yeah, you're talking about aluminum. So you're talking about the LCA available with this aluminum can and the PET containers. So I think I don't do any product using aluminum. Actually, I'm not in this field of aluminum, glass, and metal process. I'm purely on agro waste byproducts. Everything, whatever I make, it's from agro waste. Whatever is thrown, we are taking and naturally processing. So there are many people in this forum who can answer better than me, because I'm not practically involved in this aluminum can production. I have read more facts about this aluminum can and comparisons and all those LCAs. So whatever practically I have gone through, only I can speak. So I think some other persons can answer this better than me.
Okay, thank you, Pushpa, for that. So, house, if anybody has a suggestion or opinion or a view on what we can actually replace plastic with, it's actually an open conversation. Nobody knows it all. So please, you can actually hands up and help us answer that question. Thank you.
But I can answer one thing. I can compare this PET container with my own rice bran container or coffee waste made container. For example, we can take PET food container and PET coffee waste containers. Means if I do LCA, I'm doing this LCA, and the coffee waste made food container, it's healthier. First thing, it's not going to affect my health. And the second thing is, when I throw, even though if I throw this coffee waste container, I can throw along with this organic waste, like food scraps or kitchen waste, I can throw this coffee waste container in that stream, and it can be local municipal compostable. It does not need any specific facility like PET containers. In my local municipal composting, where they are processing food and organic waste, they can process my coffee waste containers also, because it's natural, no chemicals and no additives. So they can process along with the kitchen waste to make a compost. Ultimately, this compost is going to my farmer field nearby. It's going to enrich the environment. And if I make if I'm repurposing the coffee waste container as a briquette, the greenhouse gas emission is also low, because it has a combination of coconut and coffee. So I have done this study. The calorific value is more than a wood charcoal, and the greenhouse gas emission is very low when compared to this charcoal and wood-based briquettes. And it has lower emission and higher combustion rate. So ultimately, it's eco-friendly when compared to this PET containers. And the second thing, PET containers cannot be converted into a biochar. Right? It can be incinerated. It's going to do the harm. But my product, it can be converted into a biochar. It's going to my farmer soil amendment, because in the soil, the organic matter is decreasing. The yield is decreasing because there is no organic matter in the soil. But my product is going to add the organic matter as a compost or as a biochar. So practically, I can see the consequence of my end-of-life product. So that's what I am doing. So in this case, I can explain, because I'm doing this LCA for my product. Comparing with the plastics, it's more healthier for my community. It's more encouraging regenerative agriculture. It's encouraging solid biomass briquettes. So everywhere I can see positive signs when compare this PET container with my own product. So comparison with aluminum can, the forum can answer.
Okay, thank you, Pushpa. For the question is actually not really comparing with aluminium can. It's looking at the scalability of what you do. You think your product trying to replace plastic can actually cover the whole of India where you are, for an instance? We know India is actually the most populous country in the world. So if there is any place, because plastic pollution, like I said, has to do with population, is it possible to replicate what you are doing on an Indian-wide scale? And if we can actually achieve that, automatically, I feel we can actually do it on a global scale. So do we need to teach more people, or how do you feel it's actually going to be possible? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Pushpa. We're still within your time. That was why I was actually asking to get clarification. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I was asking if your own product, which is trying to recycle, trying to like zero out waste using normal plant-based waste, is it replicable on an Indian-wide scale? Can you replicate it like to cover the whole of your country as an instance?
Yeah. It's replicable because we have many alternative formulation for this agro waste natural biocomposite. As I said earlier, we have researched more than 70 types of agro waste in these 3 years. So if I am not getting a coffee waste suddenly, I can go for some other waste like banana waste. I have formulation for that also. Suddenly, if I am not getting banana waste, I can go for sugarcane bagasse, which is widely available in India. So I can keep on changing my waste also. I don't depend on a particular agro waste for this biocomposite formulation. So it will easily scalable and replicable. And actually, I'm doing tech transfer inside India, because it should be a decentralized manufacturing to reduce the carbon footprint. So we are replicating in other states. Right now we are working on Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. Once its pilot sales and all those feedback system is completed, throughout India we will go for a commercial production in decentralized manner. So whatever waste available in the locality, we can make a biocomposite out of it, and we have an inventive process to make products. Not only food packaging, we can make goods packaging, we can make toys using this, we can make a few automobile parts also. So whatever application, we can fit it into that application. The only thing is we are working on machineries. We have to work more on this machineries, development, fabrication for our inventive process. We have machineries for a food packaging sector. We have to go for a machinery in goods packaging and toy manufacturing. So we have to work on these machineries. Once the machineries high-speed production is supported by renewable energy, definitely it's going to be a low carbon footprint production and decentralized manufacturing. It's replicable throughout India.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Unfortunately, our third speaker, due to network challenges, is unable to join us. So we can actually use the next couple of minutes to actually ask questions or clarifications or probably observations to either of our keynote speakers. So please, the floor is open. Feel free to raise up your hand if you want to ask any question, or if you just want to talk, or you can still type. We'll read out your questions. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, afternoon. Welcome.
Yes, sir. I thank you for this program. I think the good thing about it is that when you think you have had enough about the plastic and its attendant effects on the environment, this one has added more, and then you just discover that yes, there is more to learn, especially across the continent. That the experiences of maybe the last speaker. I will just make some comments, and then maybe some one or two observations. I think it is interesting that most of the people who are guilty or who are the users of these plastics are not even aware of the effects. That is the populace. It is we who are the educated or elites that know. And that means even when we talk about advocacy, it is we are the one that should lead it. That is to start with. Then secondly, and to live it. Now, so the challenge is still ours to evangelize this message. Now, the other observation or advice I will make for the ACMAN is for us to maybe like on a day like this, we have done this. Maybe we'll take maybe from now till next year, if this is our theme for today, we can say, okay, every quarter, if it's go to a local community or somehow, or do something that people will advocate. Like, for example, the masses. Okay, like if you go to, we have a lot of waste, food waste, and they don't know how this waste can be recycled to fertilizer, to other things. So we can do small advocacy. Maybe go to a market one day or go somewhere and then maybe let people know. And then the other thing is, I think somebody mentioned about governance. Now, I think ACMAN started in Niger State, in Mina, before, and now it's spreading. So I just, in a wild thought, can we see how we can sponsor a bill or mention it at the House of Assembly that, okay, this is something that we should be aware about, and then what Lagos has done, what can we learn from it? And can we also replicate it? So that at least that would be something that, yes, we have also make a definite contribution to the states or any other state that is favorable for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So basically, you are suggesting we take the message to the streets and see if we can actually push for legislation. I think that can be done, though it's for the president at the end of the day to have the final say. Please, the floor is still open for more contribution like the last one. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Aisha Jibril, and thank you, Pushback, for the wonderful presentation and everyone else who have presented. As the last contributor said, if you're willing to do anything in Kaduna, like yesterday, we just had our own World Environment Day in my office, and we invited Nesria and Kepa, who are willing to collaborate. So if we really want to take this to the streets, I can help push in bringing in Nesria, Kaduna chapter, and Kepa into the business. The president knows me, so he knows how to contact me.
Thank you very much, Aisha Jibril, for that offer. I think it will actually help in ending plastic pollution in our cities. That's actually a very good offer, and I'm sure the president will look into that. So please, more suggestions, more contributions, please, so that before we round up.
I have a question for Pushpa, please.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So you've made some notable solutions, mitigations on possible options for us to use, but when comparing it with the plastic bottles, how cost effective are they?
Yeah, when it comes to plastic bottles, especially, I'm suggesting only reusable in this case. Like cut the single-use plastic bottles. So we have to do some systematic changes. We have to encourage reusable ecosystem. We have to make some reusable economy. Take fill water in a reusable bottle, take wherever you want. So in this case, I will support this reusable stainless steel bottles or bamboo bottles. I will support these reusable items only. When it comes to this single-use plastic bottles, reusable is the best thing. But in cafes, when it comes to the hygiene part, people don't like to drink coffee in a cup which is used by someone else. It comes to hygiene part in cafes and restaurants, in all those areas. So whenever it's touched the hygiene part, and whenever it touches the water, huge water usage for cleaning reusable materials, you have to go for this regenerative packaging system. What I am thinking about, like coffee waste made coffee cups, coffee waste made plates, food containers with lid made up of coffee waste. Whatever I am working out, it's for takeout delivery. India is now growing on this takeout delivery system. We are ordering food in Swiggy, Zomato, whatever else. India is revolving around this takeout online delivery. So when it comes to online delivery, definitely we have to go for this kind of regenerative packaging ecosystem.
No display on dialog box.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
In our either as Kunu or Zobo. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. My internet is still shaking. So we do a lot of reuse in our community. We actually try to repurpose plastic as much as possible, especially for the plastic bottles. But my major concern has to do with sachet water, also known as pure water. We're actually in the tropics, so we cannot do away with it. So what kind of sustainable alternative do you think we can have for sachet water especially? Please, Mr. Ejike, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much for that question. There is no solution, alternative that you bring that people will embrace very quickly if they don't want to. It's more like if you are trying to wake somebody who is pretending to sleep, you won't be able to wake that person up. Now, pure water sachets is actually one of the major culprits in terms of plastic pollution here in Nigeria. Because when you drink and then throw it away, apart from very few people or organizations, I know there is one environmental advocate in Ibadan doing something great with that now, trying to make our school bags and all whatnot. Otherwise, those ones are really thrown, into the waste stream. So the solution goes back to get water filters at home. Get your reusable containers. Filter your water and put in reusable container or reusable water flask and move around with it. That way, you will not only save money, you will also have healthier water or safe water to drink. For instance, if you are using water filter, let me give you a simple instance, and that is how to drive this point home. In a household that you have maybe 5 people, if we go by the approved water requirement intake for individual by UNICEF, that average individual should get almost 16 liters of water in a day. So if we go by that, and then you have a household that is 5, now you imagine that they will require from 60 liters of water and above. Let's use averagely 60 liters. 60 liters of water, that pure water sachet that we get, they usually contain about 50 cl in one, and 20 bags in one pack that you buy. So that would mean about 10 kg, 10 liters per pack. So if a household of 5 that requires about 60 liters, what it means is that they might have to buy up to 5 or 6 of those bags in a day. When you have water filter in your house, what it means is that the money you use to buy this pure water sachet, you will save it. You will save it. At the end of the year, you might realize that a household can save as much as 1 to 2 million naira on just pure water they drink at home. So what will work is for people to begin to orientate themselves and then get water filters, filter your tap water, filter your water from the well or what. And there are a lot of good filters out there now that you can get alkaline water for drinking. You will save money, you will remain healthier, you will have safe water for consumption. You will keep the environment clean because pollution from pure water sachets will reduce. That is the basic thing to do. But people who have like organizations can introduce hydration centers. For instance, if you go to a company, a corporate organization, they build one hydration center for their staff. Then you take your water flask and they get from it. You go to institutions of higher learning, build some hydration centers at different points, and then they get that. I mean, when that is done, that is why the government have to be serious about the policies that we're talking about. If government comes up with that policy of banning pure water sachets in Lagos, for instance, and then encourage partnerships for hydration centers in public places, the problem will be solved, and they solve for a better environment for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. So basically, we also need the intervention of public firms and government organizations. So please, the floor is still open time. Nobody knows it all. So we should be able to actually contribute. So we're still waiting. You have the floor for now. So please, we'll soon be rounding up in the absence of the last speaker. So let's try and keep our contributions brief and straight to the point. Thank you. So please talk.
All right. This is to Mr. Ejike. Thank you very much for that enlightening solutions. Like you spoke about the water filter. I do have a water filter at home, but I never thought about using it the way you just mentioned. In place of the reason why I got that water filter was because I noticed the water wasn't good, but I didn't think of it as a solution. Instead of using pure water sachet, that one can use it to augment spending on that, and it's going to help you save cost. So I think it's ideas like this that are cost effective, and it's easier to sell to people closer to you, because they won't think about when you calculate about how much they will spend in buying pure water sachets, and then at the one-time cost they will spend in buying filters. I think they would rather buy the filter than keep on buying the water and use it. So thank you very much for that insightful contribution. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Thank you, Aisha. Please, for like my next observation would be to Pushpa. Like, I have very young children, and most of their toys are actually plastic, from the piano they play to the cars and all that. Do you feel like probably these alternatives can take the place of this plastic in probably molding their toys? I'm just asking.
Yeah, definitely. We have this technology of natural biocomposite, which can be used for manufacturing toys also. So before going for industrial process, what I suggest, go for handmade toys, which is widely available, like recycled wooden toys or bamboo toys or neem wood toys. There are plenty of FSC certified toys is also available. You can go for that. And at the end of the life, you can give these toys to another children also as a donation. So it will not degrade much. It will have a long life when we go for this kind of recycled wooden toys or any kind of neem wood toys or bamboo toys. It's not going to harm our children, or it's not going to harm our environment. It's not a short use. It have a long time use. You can pass on to next children as a donation also. So no harm. At the same time, we have technology to make toys also. The only thing is we are starting with this food packaging because I am more concerned about this microplastic leaching into the food items. So I am starting with this food packaging sector. Slowly, there are many requests for making cosmetic packaging, electronic goods packaging, and smaller automobile interior parts and toy manufacturing. There are many requests. We can do that. We have to develop missions. That is the only thing. And the mission technology is also available. We have to make missions and we have to go into execution part. So as a single person, I cannot do this. So that's why inside India, I'm doing this tech transfer for various applications. I'm technically supporting them and I'm marketing support also I'm giving for them. I'm more connected with this environment, health, safety professional in various industries inside India. So whatever ways it's possible, I can support them both technically, and I have an expert team for doing process optimization for each and every product. And I have an expert team for fabricating machine also. The only thing is funding. When it comes to funding, until now I'm a bootstrap startup. I'm not funded by any organization. Until now, I'm utilizing my own savings for this research and for my own startup. Right now, I'm exploring government grants for scaling these products and to make it in a large scale. So in that term also, I'm going to do some tech transfer for various applications in India alone. In future, we can think in a wider perspective, but I'm ready for doing all those things and I'm ready to support this also.
Okay. Wow, that's actually a nice one. Well done for your efforts and contribution to the environment. I'm sure Mother Nature thanks you for that. Mr. Ejike, sir, please, before we close, I wanted to find out, by phasing out plastics, if ending the plastic, is there a way we can sustainably do it without pushing these informal waste pickers out of jobs? Because there are a lot of people that actually depend on it as a source of livelihood. So probably maybe you have one or two comments on that, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. It is important for us to acknowledge that every policy that we come up, environmental policy, is usually multi-stakeholder because it affects so many people. One, there are some people who earn livelihood through that process. There are people who also benefit one way or the other. Now, the informal waste pickers, you can't do away with them completely. Plastic is one thing, plastic pollution is one thing, but we can't stop generating waste. So even if we are not generating plastic waste, we are generating other municipal waste, which the informal waste pickers can still be part of. Then again, you see, for Plafera, our focus is primarily on single-use plastic because that is the one that you use just for a moment and then you throw it and it remains a problem in the environment for centuries. So the informal waste pickers, they can be integrated into other processes. Let's say if we are not doing single-use plastic like now Lagos is gradually moving to that. There are some other plastic items which are recyclable, of course, and those recyclable plastics we will still continue to use them. I don't see a time when we will completely move out of plastic. Besides, even if, as we are talking of alternatives, the bioplastic at the end of the day would definitely go into the waste stream. And then we need people to recover them. We need people to get to reprocess them, either repurpose or reprocess them for further use. So the informal waste pickers definitely would not be out of the scheme of things, provided that the policies are crafted in such a way that they are accommodated at every point in time. And one of the effective ways of having good policy is trying to get public opinion about it. So when all the stakeholders are involved, you are able to look at how it affects A, B, and C, and then find a middle ground, because at the end of the day, we want to have a better environment. So I don't feel that, if we end plastic pollution, that the informal waste pickers will be totally out of, their business. No, there is definitely going to be something for them, even in the new processes where we are talking of alternative to plastic. There'll be something for them.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. So please, Pushpa, as we round up, I don't know if maybe you give us a closing remark, something for us to take home with.
Yeah, definitely. So what I come to say in this stage means the plastic usage, recycling, and the pollution related to that should be taught in a school level. Every school children under the age of 5 should be taught gardening. In every school it's happening. They are teaching gardening, because when they touch the soil, they are emotionally connected. So they should practice gardening even for the children under the age of 5. When they start to love the nature, when they become an innovator, they will definitely make products which does not harm the soil, which does not harm the human, which does not harm the ecosystem depending upon the soil. Because every teaspoon of soil is containing many organisms like microbes, like insects, which are activating our soil and are adding value to our ecosystem. So teach gardening to school children, make an emotional connect to the soil. So teach gardening, teach home composting, practice home composting, whatever kitchen waste we are having in our home, practice home composting. In this stage, if we teach these children about this natural regenerative practices, definitely they will be an innovator who will face out plastic in a design stage itself. So this is my takeaway.
Thank you very much for that. Mr. Ejike, sir, please, do you have any closing remark for us as a take home? Mr. Ejike, sir, please, do you have a closing remark for us, sir?
Oh, thank you. Yes, my closing remark is simple. Just to remind us one more time that we did not inherit this environment from our ancestors, but we have simply borrowed it from our future generations. So we have a responsibility of bequeathing our legacy to our future generations by managing our environment well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, before we call on the president to give us a closing remark, I want to call on everyone to actually put on their video so that they can take a screenshot. Please, I want to call on everyone to at least put on their camera so that we can take a screenshot, more like a selfie, if we use that word. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Please, we're still waiting, probably like a minute. Let's get everyone on board. So we'll take a screenshot.
Unmute.
Sorry, on this note, we want to call on the president for his closing remark. And before he comes, I want to appreciate everybody and especially ACMAN for this opportunity given to me. I do not take it for granted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a very, very interesting event today. I want to especially thank our distinguished speakers, Mr. Ejike. That was a very, very wonderful presentation. And then the question and answer session were highly educative. And Ms. Pushpa, thank you so much for your presentations. I really, really, really appreciate you coming. Unfortunately, we could not have the presentation from Architect Rhoda, who could not join us today. And I would like to say a big thank you also to all our participants. Without you here, this event wouldn't have happened. Thank you, Chris Kozak, for your instigating question. Actually, the question brought a lot of comments, whether plastic can be replaced or not. I would like to say the aim of this event is actually ending plastic pollution, not replacing plastic. Because as it is right now, plastic is actually an integral part of industrial revolution. Everybody here has used plastics, and but it is not fully replaceable yet, especially the aspect of medical equipment like IV bags, syringes, sterile packaging, all these things, electronics like Mr. Isah put out, although there are alternatives coming up, but it is actually a conversation that still continues, this issue of plastic. Individually, we might like to reject like single-use plastic, like plastic bags, nylons, and all that. Me personally, I do reject it. One of the 8 R's of waste management is reject. Reject, refuse, reuse, reduce, all these things are beneficial to the environment. If you're able to reject, you're going to the market to get grocery, for example, you carry your tote bag instead of going there to collect more nylon bags to your house. And then indiscriminate disposal is also the major challenge why we have plastic pollution everywhere. And like Mr. Ejike pointed out, the political will to ban some kind of plastics that are highly harmful to the human health and the environment, like in the case of Lagos is cited, is a very, very welcome process that can actually lead to this ending plastic pollution menace in the environment. Like I said, this discussion is a continuous one. I will continue. At ACMAN, our major aim and goal is to promote equitable, livable, and sustainable cities for enhanced quality of life in Nigeria. And that is why we are holding this event today. Talking about quality of life, pollution is a major problem to a good quality of life. And that is why we are trying to see how we can, develop policies that can actually work within our cities in Nigeria. There are various alternatives coming up. I would like everyone to take the time to check out the EcoKadai website by Pushpa. They are doing a great job there, developing all these kitchen utensils from rice and what's it called, lemongrass. These are initiatives that are highly commendable. And we also should try to follow up the Plafera challenge. Mr. Ejike is doing a very great job there. And you can also follow us at ACMAN online, ACMAN Nigeria, to see all the great things we are doing in ACMAN. And our doors are open to anybody that wants to join ACMAN. You can join us via email. I think the email for the confirmation of this meeting, our website where you can join us is also there. So I want to say thank you very much, not forgetting my able moderator today, Mr. Isah. You have done a fantastic job. And thank you, Aisha, for your comments. I know where to find you. And Mr. Architect Nathan Galadima, even though you did not introduce yourself, I heard your comment. And I believe when it's time to go to the National Assembly, you will be there with us because you are also part of us. So thank you so much. Mr. Daisy also, I'm seeing your video, although you have not made any comment today. I want to appreciate everybody. Thank you, and thank you very much.